In the quiet village of Windale, nestled between soft rolling hills and cobblestone lanes, lived a woman named Elsie. She was in her 60s, wore shawls that smelled of lavender, and ran a tiny tea shop called the Teacup Tree. The shop was a curious little place, not because of its tea, though it was excellent, but because of the actual tree that grew right in the center of it. The locals swore it had been there before the shop was even built. It was a twisted old maple, its bark smooth and silvery, and every spring, something peculiar happened. It grew teacups. Yes, real teacups. Each morning in spring, Elsie would open the shop to find fresh ceramic teacups gently hanging from the branches like fruit. Some were plain, some painted with daisies or bluebells, and some had delicate gold rims. No one knew how or why, but no one ever questioned it either. It was simply part of Windale's charm. Elsie believed the tree could sense the mood of the village. On sunny days, the cups were cheerful, bright colors, little birds or bees painted on them. On rainy days, the cups were all in calming shades of blue and gray. On holidays, they sparkled with hints of silver. Customers would come not only for the buttery scones and warm lemon tea, but to pick a teacup from the tree.
Pick with your heart,
Elsie would say.
The tree knows what you need.
One afternoon, a young man named Theo stumbled into the shop. He looked travel-worn, his coat damp from a drizzle, his eyes heavy with something that wasn't just tiredness.
First time?
Elsie smiled from behind the counter, drying her hands with a striped cloth. Theo nodded.
Train stopped here for the night. Thought I'd explore.
You came to the right place. Go on then.
She gestured to the tree.
Pick your cup.
He hesitated, then approached the tree slowly. After a moment of thought, he reached for a simple cream-colored cup with a single gold line around the edge.
Interesting choice,
Elsie said, already pouring hot tea into a pot.
That one only shows up when someone needs to start over.
Theo's brow furrowed.
How do you mean?
Elsie simply smiled and handed him the tea.
Sip it first, then we talk.
They sat by the fire, the shop warm and full of the smell of cinnamon and cardamom. Outside, the rain tapped softly on the windows. For the first time in weeks, Theo allowed himself to relax. He told her about his job in the city that drained him, about how he felt like he was running and standing still all at once, about how he didn't know where he belonged anymore. Elsie listened, nodding now and then, her hands wrapped around her own steaming cup.
When the tree gave me that cup,
Theo said,
I felt like it was listening.
It does,
Elsie said gently.
The tree has its own quiet way. People leave here lighter, not because the tea is magical, but because they were given the space to pause.
Theo looked around the shop again. Wooden shelves held jars of loose-leaf tea, hand-knitted cozies, and shelves lined with books waiting to be read slowly. It wasn't loud or flashy, just peaceful.
I think I needed this,
he said softly.
Most people do.
Elsie smiled.
Life's not always about the big leaps. Sometimes the tiniest pauses help you find your direction.
Theo stayed for another hour. Before he left, Elsie wrapped a warm scone in paper and handed it to him with a wink.
For the road.
He turned at the door.
Will the tree remember me?
Oh, yes,
she said.
And when you're ready to visit again, it'll have a cup waiting just for you.
Theo stepped out into the misty evening, his heart somehow quieter than it had been in months. Behind him, the teacup tree glowed golden in the dusk, the branches swaying gently in the breeze, and a new teacup shimmering on the lowest branch painted in soft yellows. like the morning sun.